Hey there, in today's video I'm going to preview the Midnight Sun Marathon in Tromsø, Norway 2024. I'm making this video because I signed up to do the Midnight Sun Marathon, which is according to my Garmin, it's in 8 weeks and 4 days. And my Garmin tells me I'm going to do it in 3 hours, 46 minutes and 41 seconds, but I'm not. I'm hoping to do it in 4 hours, 45 minutes. That's the plan. And the plan is very specific, maybe a little bit quicker, maybe a little bit slower, but it's going to be in and around there. And the reason for that is I'm not doing it on my own. And it's a big honor. This is a big thing for me. It's a big thing emotionally, and it's just a big thing. I'm really looking forward to it. There's a technical challenge here, and there's an emotional challenge, and we'll go through those. And so, to give you a bit of background, when I was in New York last year doing the marathon, I met Chris Baily from the UK, and Chris had watched some channels, and we'd been backwards and forwards. And it took me a long time to realise, but Chris is sight impaired, and in New York he was running with a runner. And when I did the Berlin Marathon, I was looking at people, guide runners and non-guide runners running, and I thought, that looks really interesting. There's something, it caught my eye that'd be an interesting thing to do. So I'm in New York, and I go to meet Chris and his mom in I think we were in Dunkin' Donuts or somewhere like that in Times Square, where I met Chris. And I was thinking to myself, God, I'd love to ask Chris, would he like to do a run and a race? But you can't. That's not the kind of thing you can ask someone, or not the kind of thing I could ask someone. I feel I'd be imposing. Anyway, we met. Chris had a great race in New York, and afterwards he sent me a text saying, did I fancy doing a run with him? And I thought, fantastic. So we initially thought we'd go to the UK. It's a place I love to go to, and I thought I'll do a run in the UK. And then a couple of months ago, Chris said to me, do you fancy doing the Midnight Marathon in Tromsø in Norway? And did I fancy it? I practically signed up straight away. I was chomping at the bit. It just sounds fantastic. Running at midnight, it just sounded fantastic. And so that plan hatched, where we are going to run. The accommodation's all booked. Everything is sorted about going to Tromsø. Today is Tuesday the 23rd of April. Oh yeah, I ran the Boston Marathon about a week and a day ago, and Chris ran the London Marathon a couple of days ago. So we're both out of the major marathon. Chris has 6 stars already, and he seems to be doing another lap of the 6 stars. So I'm really looking forward to it. There's lots of, as I said, technical challenges. I'm sitting there thinking, gosh, poor Chris having to listen to me for. Anyway, that's what I signed up for. I'm really, really looking forward to it. It's a part of the world. I've been to Oslo. I have not been to Tromsø, but really, really looking forward to it. There's also one that happens. There's a midday one that takes place on January 4th, when it's really, really cold and totally dark. The Midnight Sun one, it's held on the summer solstice, and we'll be running either side of midnight, and it'll be bright all day. I think you're supposed to jump in the sea afterwards. Maybe not, but yeah, really looking forward to it. Training is starting in a couple of hours. Easy going. I've done a couple of easy runs since Boston. Will be an easy run tonight, and then just trying to maintain my fitness. And one of the things that you're so conscious of in something like this is you don't want to get injured. The last thing you want to do is get an injury. So I'll be doing my best to avoid that. I think that's okay, and I have a backup plan. But yeah, see you in the next one. Today is Thursday the 16th of May 2024, and according to my Garmin, my next marathon is in 5 weeks and 2 days. So what have I decided so far? Well, I know I'm running with Chris. We had our first Microsoft Teams meeting the other day. I was kind of sitting there during the day thinking, gee, I better let Chris know that I'm actually out training, and I think he was thinking the same thing. So we had a good Microsoft Teams meeting. Chris is based in, I think, Uckfield in the UK, and I'm here in Ireland. So we did that, and I suppose cleared the air about a couple of things. One was I wanted to get Chris involved in these videos. He seems very happy to do that, so you'll be seeing Chris before too long, and he can go through all the different things looking at the marathon from his point of view, while I kind of go through from my point of view, all my worries and fears in relation to it. He doesn't seem to have any. He doesn't seem remotely worried that he's running with this complete novice. But yeah, I mean, a couple of things. I had a look at the entire course on Street View. I'm going to be guiding Chris, so I wanted to see what the course would be like. I like to do that anyway. I also considered hiring a car the day before to drive around it. You can drive around it. But I think, I don't know what goes on in Norway, but it was €450 a day was one quote I got. I think I could find one for maybe €260. Anyway, it's going to have to be Street View and Apple's equivalent, and I'll do all of that. And I think that's going to be okay. I think we both watched lots of videos. There are videos of people who've run the course before, and it looks to be okay. There's a 1K and a 5K as well, I think, and maybe a half marathon, various distances. But when you're on the marathon course, I think after a while it'll thin out. I think there are about 1,500 people in the marathon, maybe 5,000 overall. So Chris and I know that it's going to be maybe a bit busy at the start, just like a lot of marathons, and then it might pan out. So that's going to affect the strategies of what we do, how we're tethered, all that kind of stuff. And what I had planned to do, I contacted Vision Sports Ireland because I saw that they were running a training course this Saturday, which I think is the 18th of May. It's designed, I think, for coaches, but they're letting me go. And it's designed so that you know how to be a good guide runner. We've gone over the various basics, and again, we'll do more of that. But I did want to, I don't want to let Chris down. I suppose that comes across. And I do want to know what to do. Funnily enough, so we went through some of the various permutations. In my head, I always envisioned that I'm running on the left of Chris as we run down the road. And as it happens, that's exactly what he told me I would be doing. And that was really strange. I don't know whether it's because I've seen people in other marathons and maybe it's a standard thing. I don't know, but that's going to go pretty well, I think. And I've got to... I'm thinking to myself, I've got to concentrate the whole time and make sure that Chris and I don't end up in the fjord or trip over. But he's very relaxed about all this, and I think it's going to be an awful lot of fun. And Chris likes bad puns, so he would obviously have a few jokes along the way. I'm not fully sure about kit. Chris is totally sure about his kit. I'll be wearing some sort of vest that Chris has got. He's got these vests, and as the guide runner, I'll be wearing a vest. And typical me, all I was interested in was the color. So it's yellow apparently, or yellowish, and I'll be wearing these shoes. I'd planned to run these shoes, and I did like to match them up. But yeah, I'm running in these. These are the New Balance Fuel Cell Super Comp Elite version 4. It takes longer to say than to run the marathon. But I'm looking forward to running these shoes. I bought them. I've been doing various shoe offs, but these are really comfortable shoes, and they really ride really, really nicely. So I'm looking forward to running in those and having the race in that. I'm going to fly with SAS, so I'm going to arrive. I consider driving. Actually, if there would been a direct UK to Norway car ferry, I really would have considered driving. I didn't quite realize how far up Tromsø, I think that's the pronunciation, is from Oslo. But it's like someone said, if you pivot on Oslo, Tromsø would end up somewhere in the Sahara. I don't know, but it's a long way. So I'm going to fly instead. I'm going to fly and make sure I'm there before Chris. That's the plan. So we can both make our way then into the accommodation. We're staying, I think, in the Radisson. Is it Radisson? SAS, and the Radisson Hotel. It's pretty nice. And one of the great things about this marathon is everything is really close together. Everything is within walking distance, a very short walking distance of the start. So Tromsø is small enough. I don't know how, I'll find out the population statistics, but it's small enough, and everything is nice and compact in the city centre. A thing that's crossing both our minds is we're both used to running morning marathons, and I've run a couple of ones that start in the middle of the day by the time my old men group gets going. New York and Boston, I was kind of late in the day. This is as late in the day as possible. I think we start about 10 o'clock at night. And that brings in different food strategies, because I'm well prepared and I've done all this for the morning, and I'm wondering about the evening. Chris is wondering the same. I think I think he's going to overdose on Pop-Tarts. I think that's those Kellogg's things you put in a toaster. I don't know. I haven't figured it out. There's all of that, and we'll probably go through some of that together, discussing what to do, and might try and screen record that. So everything I think is good. Chris is going to be wearing a hydration jacket. I don't really like wearing hydration vests or jackets. I think probably not. The temperature, unlike Boston, where it was quite hot in the middle of the day, we're running at night time. I know it's the summertime, but my guess is the temperature will be very stable and very noble in the day. It could be that I make some last minute decisions. I don't think it's going to be too warm on the marathon. It might not even be sunny. I mean, who knows? But that's what we're hoping for. Most times you look at the marathon, it looks like a lovely sunny evening, where neither of us are really sure how bright it is. I think we're guessing it'll be a bit kind of like a feeling of slight overcastness, but I don't know. We'll figure out that today. I'll be up in Oslo, hopefully for a couple of days beforehand, for something else that may or may not come to pass. And then we will, make my way up. And so I'll be well acclimatized. The time zone, I think Norway might be an hour or two ahead of Dublin. It's not going to make much odds. And I'm really looking forward to it. I am, as you can probably tell, quite excited about it. It's going to be a really nice challenge. I think it'll be an awful lot of fun, and it'll be really interesting Chris has run all 6 majors, so it'll be really interesting for me to find out what Chris thinks of the various majors and all sorts of other stuff, and plenty of stuff to occupy us on our journey around. Not sure about jumping into the sea afterwards, but we'll see if Chris is game, because if he's game, I might do it. Otherwise, I'm not going on cable cars. Chris wants to go up with some cable car. Chris, you're on your own on the cable car. I'd be terrified. And we'll see how we go. And training is going well. I've mentally switched back into it. It was hard to kind of finish in Boston and then with a short, essentially training run up. But now I'm up at the 2.5 hour sort of weekend runs, and the tempos and all those things during the week. And it's that nice, sweet, exciting time where you're thinking, right, 5 weeks, here we go. See you in the next one. It is Saturday, the 18th of May, 2024, and I'm 5 weeks away from the Tromsø Midnight Marathon, which the watch says I'll run in 3 hours, 47:53, which I won't. I'm trying to go way slower than that. I'm just trying to be fit enough to really enjoy the run. And training has gone really well. I think I seem to be right back into a really good level of training where I'm enjoying it. I had slight groin strain during the week, but that seems to have gone away. And I'm trying to really make sure I don't have an injury. That's really primary on my focus, because effectively, if I'm injured, well, Chris is injured. Sorry, Chris, but so I'm doing my best not to be injured. It, should be okay. And so I'm not overdoing anything. I think I'm running a 5K race this week, but it's a social event, so it doesn't have to be a big deal. I'm off this morning. I'm driving along the canal in Dublin. I'm going to my vision training at Vision Sports Ireland at the Ivy Sports Ground in Dublin. Ivy, when you see something called Ivy, Iveagh in Dublin, there's Ivy Gardens and Ivy Sports Grounds. I mixed them up in Ivy, all sorts of Ivy things, Ivy Trust. It's to do with the Guinness family, who were Lord Ivy, Earl Ivy, all of those. And where I'm going this morning is, my father worked for Guinness for all his working life. I suppose latterly Diageo. And this is a sports ground that they set up. My dad used to play hurling there in the early 1960s, the Irish sport where you hit a small ball. It's about the size of a baseball. It's called a schlitter. The seam is on the outside. There's the big seam. It is a hard ball, and you use these wooden sticks called hurleys from an ash tree, and you batter the ball, and sometimes the other lad. I haven't played it. It's not for the faint-hearted, but it's glorious to watch. But anyway, that's at the Ivy Sports Ground. So I'm going for my training. I'm not quite sure what to expect. I've brought a blindfold and some running gear. I really don't know what's going to happen, but I've brought those. Today is, I think, I'm not sure if there's a running track at the sports grounds. I've been there before. I've played softball there, I think. But yeah, I don't quite know what's going to be there. But anyway, we'll see, because there is an online session for theory that is on. That's on a couple of days on Tuesday night, I think, on a Zoom call. That'll be good. I think they're going to go through various different types of vision deficiencies and all these kinds of theory stuff that I think will be really good, that will underpin the background, because I suppose, in part, I'm really looking forward to running with Chris in the next race, but it'd be kind of handy to be able to assist other people, and, so we'll see how that goes. And yeah, so we'll see what happens today. I'll report back later on. Yeah, looking forward to it. Today is Friday the 24th of May, and we are 4 weeks and 1 day away from the Tromsø Midnight Sun Marathon. The Garmin seems to think I got slower this week, telling me I'll do it in 3 hours 48 and 44 seconds. And speaking of Garmin time, I went out and I ran a personal best, according to this, yesterday in a 5K. That was not really, I suppose, you get competitive. It was in the Phoenix Park here in Dublin. It was the staff series races. It was a 5 people in a relay, 5K each. It was really nice. The weather was terrible. We headed out from, I work in the Technological University Dublin, and I went with some of my colleagues. I think we had 5 or 6 different teams in it, but anyway, whatever team, I was in with a couple of guys that I work closely with. So we went up. It was really cold. Afterwards, I was literally shaking with the cold. And this is, I don't know, midsummer or somewhere near summer. It's not midsummer. The marathon's on midsummer. But we're 4 weeks away and a day from midsummer. But that's an Irish summer for you. We were out on is a sort of plain in Phoenix Park. Is, I think, Europe's largest city park. It's a huge park, and Dublin wraps around it. And it's about, I suppose, from work, it was about a 20-minute walk to the park, and then half an hour through to this open area. It's a really nice course, but it was partly on grass, partly on tarmac, and sort of runs around, goes down. I think it's the Khyber Road. It's not the Khyber Pass, but down the Khyber. Anyway, goes downhill after the first bit, and then you go up by the magazine fort and through the park, and then all the people who've entered in various different companies. We were at the Technological University of Dublin, but there was Diageo were there, Pfizer were there, lots of companies were there, and they take tents, and the tents are about 1 kilometer of, there's tents either side of the sort of runway, and it is really good to do it. I went first off so that I could film a bit, which I didn't manage. Got to turn the camera on. I think I got some good pictures of people here and there. I got, but I missed some of the in-race footage that I wanted to do. It was a horrible night anyway, so I had planned to make a whole video about it, but the night was so cold and grim that probably wouldn't. But it was really good. I was trying, when we first headed off, they had just mowed the grass a couple of days ago, and so you were running over clumps of grass, and all I kept thinking was, don't twist an ankle, and this is all I was thinking of. And let Chris down. That was all I was really thinking at the start. There was I think 5,000 people took part, so they were doing 1,000 people at the start. I think there was 5 legs, yeah, so maybe 1,000 people at the start. And it was Josh. I got pushed, pushed in the back. But anyway, ran on, and I ran in my trusty Alphafly 3s. They were great. These were really, I wanted to race in them, and they did not disappoint. They were really good. I set a personal best. Funny enough, the Garmin, before I was going out, the Garmin said I would do it in, hang on, I wrote the notes down, 22 minutes and 18 seconds. My stride said I would do it in 21 minutes, 26 seconds. Midway between there would have been my personal best, and I actually ran it according to Strava in 21 minutes, 48 seconds. So I went really well. When I wanted to take off, boy, did the Alphafly 3s take off. I'll show pictures. I got pictures of my friend John running towards the finish, and that turned out quite well. And then I've got my friend Liam, who I run with all the time. And Liam is handing over to my friend Peter, and Peter's running off. And it was really nice to do. Thanks to everybody from the Technological University who organised it all, because it was really special. And one of the things that happens afterwards, of course, you can see as we walk down through the park where my friend Liam and John are walking down to, we walk through the park. It's really very beautiful. You go past the Wellington
monument. It's actually, I think, the Wellington Testimonial. Everyone calls it the Wellington Monument. And we went past there. We saw the deer out. There's deer in the park, and then we went down to one of Dublin's best pubs. If you're ever in Dublin, Ryan's of Parkgate Street, wonderful pub, great. It's slightly, if it wasn't, it's slightly on the edge of town. It's actually across the river from Guinness, pretty much. And if it wasn't, it's slightly 2k or something from the city centre. But if it was in the city centre, it would be mobbed all the time. But it was a great way to celebrate the race. It was really good. And number one was I didn't get injured. And as in all of these things, I love the confidence you get when you're running well. And that's a big thing before the marathon. In the last episode here, I was going off for my training day. And today I'm going to introduce Chris. At least that's the plan. I have the laptop down here. I have to get a set of headphones, and I'm going to record a Microsoft Teams interview with Chris. He's seen all the previous footage up until now, and he's seen some of the B-roll from the videos I made when I was on the training day. I've had an evening session, and rather than go backwards and forwards on either emails or on WhatsApp, I decided, talking to Chris, we kind of came up with the idea that Chris is going to do all the questioning here of how the day went. So it'll be hopefully more natural, and hopefully the tech will work. And hopefully as I look up at the record button, I'll remember to press the record button. As long as I remember to press the record button, everything should go okay. I'll probably have a pair of headphones on, so that's only one sound from the coming inside in the Mac. So yeah, see you in a couple of minutes when I join Chris for, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, this should be good. This looks like something's happening. Chris!
Hello, how you doing, sir?
I went to the training thing the other day.
Yeah, I saw the footage. It looked like it was interesting.
It was interesting. It was really good because there's a tendency to... my fear on the day is that I will forget that you are visually impaired, because I'm so used to you from YouTube. Right, okay, but that's my fear. So I have loads of... But actually, the course was really, really good. So it consisted of two things. One was a day at the... 2 or 3 hours at the sports grounds, running around with a partner, and we swapped different types of vision glasses to...
Yeah, that's a standard set of glasses. I'm familiar with what sorts of glasses would have been in there, yeah.
Yeah, I figured you would, and that was really good. And the different ones, I mean, I came away with a whole load of things. First of all, it was really nice. We all teamed up, and there was a very nice atmosphere at the event, and a very nice bunch of people. And I came away thinking, one, that people who have certain vision impairments must have really strong neck muscles, because with some of them you could see certain things. And therefore, but you had to move your head an awful lot, because at least that's what I imagine people did.
I think that's where the glasses don't give you the fullest representation of reality.
Right. Well, tell us a bit about that. You tell me about the reality.
Yeah, the glasses are great at giving people without a vision impairment an idea, an approximation of what it might be like to deal with that vision impairment, whether it's a sporting environment, everyday environment. They can be used for all different manner of things. The thing that it doesn't help you with is if you have, for example, the tunnel vision one is probably a classic one. It's easy to understand for most people, because it's that you just take your field and condense it down to a really small tunnel. That's conceptually easy for people to understand, because what you're having to do, yes, you're right, you've got glasses on top of your face. Yes, you do have to move your whole head around to move the apertures around to see. Whereas, yes, I have tunnel vision as part of the symptoms. It's not the whole symptoms. It's one of about 3 main aspects. And I can cheat. I can just flick my eyes left and right and up and down. Now, it's not as I don't have to use the neck muscles to do that. And obviously, if you are moving around, running in a crowded race potentially, the idea of flicking your eyes around to see stuff, even if you tried that now, appreciating obviously you have a full field of view, you'll be shattered within seconds. You're thinking, I can't keep moving my eyes around, because if you've only got that much vision versus most people's field of vision, to be all technical about it, is usually about 190 degrees. So you can see just beyond sort of the horizontal plane. You can usually just see just beyond that
Yeah.
for a normal regular eyesight. And so, yeah, it's that thing of having to move your eyes around a lot.
Yeah.
It's impossible. It's almost dizzying, in fact.
I mean, yeah, one of the things I was trying to figure out was, so within the cone that you can you see well?
It's got worse over time. It's yes, to be again technical about it, the acuity is dropping off. So most people are aware of the standard sort of eye chart test in most opticians, with typically a bunch of letters getting, was it smaller as you go down normally?
Yeah. Yeah.
And back in the day, 20, 30 years ago, because sadly I'm a touch over 30 now and a lot more. And yep, exactly. Well, there, never mind. So yeah, back in the day, I could read what would be normally normal vision would be to the penultimate line in England anyway. I don't know what it's like in other parts of the world, but the standard Snellen test, I could read to the penultimate line. Acuity was 20/20 vision, as they say. And as the condition has evolved over time, which is what it does, I sort of couldn't get the penultimate line, might get the one before it, or the one before that, or the one before that. And now we're at the point of, I can see the frame that it's in, but I couldn't tell you what letters are in there. So it's there, it's fuzzy. Again, so poor acuity equals very fuzzy. I would broadly equate it to what most people might see should they take their reading or regular everyday glasses off at a guess, but I'm only guessing because the thing that I can't do is do a quick eyeball swap with someone. I mean, it'd be great. I might just run off with their eyes, their working eyes. It'd be fabulous. No, not really. But I think of to truly explain to someone accurately what I see and appreciate how that compares to what they see is very difficult to do. I do my best to describe it, but it's not the same as actually sort of putting themselves in my position and going, oh, it actually looks and feels like that. And yes, my vision would have been very, very good 30 plus years ago, but then most people's memories of things 30 plus years ago, which is way before I was even remotely diagnosed or anything like that, it's all a bit sort of rose tinted and fuzzy, and
of course
it's difficult to do a like for like comparison with a 30-year time gap in between with one lab rat with degrading eyes. It's you've got this reasonably old lab rat here as well.
Well, I think I've got quite a few years on you, but do you use contacts of any form or any sort of eye, to help with the fact that the parts of the vision that you do see is decreasing off in the same way that I wear glasses? Do you wear anything?
No, because it wouldn't help, sadly.
Right.
Most people's vision becoming either short or long-sighted being the regular reasons for, again, not traditional eye conditions, just general sort of getting older, eyesight degradation, is generally because the amount that the lensing of one's eye can do reaches a limit, and the glasses or the contacts is an extra layer of lensing to either focus more strongly or less strongly the light that's coming in, so that the amount of lensing that your eye naturally has at that point can focus it properly on the back of the eye, on the retina, which is your picture, which you want a nice sharp image. That tends to be what's happening. Thing is, for me, it's not the reason the focusing is going out of, the vision's going out of focus is not because of a lensing issue. It's because the retinas at the back of the eye are dying off over time because of the eye condition I've got. So it's almost like having imagine the clear piece of thinnish plastic that you could see through, and you took it, you scrumpled it up, and you tried to sort of put it flattish, but it's not flat. It's all, you try looking through that, and it would all be irregular and uneven. It would be trying to sort of create some sort of reciprocal of that mess that you've just created to perfectly get it on the back of the eye, which is also getting worse over time and changing. So it's an ever changing thing. So it's not a defocused image that you can, with a perfect lens, correct for. It's all random.
I mean, one of the other things, because on the day it was really good. So obviously, when I was wearing the glasses with the pinhole glasses, let's call them that, and I'll put in some B-roll. But because my regular sight is about -6.5 or -7, I'm obviously not wearing these, and so I could see blurry things through the pinhole. But what made it so much easier for me and the other people on the day is of course we've seen the entire layout before we put the glasses on, so we know what to expect. But at one point in time, and so we're leading each other and giving voice commands, and there was a couple of things we learned. Like it was pointed out to me by an observer that when I was running first, I was keeping my arm very stiff. I wasn't moving my arm at all, and I thought. And he was saying, "Well, you run a marathon like that, your arm is going to lock up. So you got to." So that was the thing. One of the things that was interesting was that we got in sync very, very quickly. Actually, we got in sync, but we're running out in this field.
And then, it was a grass track, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was basically, and so I'm looking at it, and it was a Gaelic football field. I think it was a football field of some form, anyway. And I didn't realise, but my guide then, and I think it's pretty flat because I look and I see it's a football field, but there was a rise in the middle of it. And she took me off somewhere, and then what I hadn't realised was we were now on the sidelines, and she said to me, "Oh, there's a hill coming up," and I'm thinking to myself, it's just that little bit in the middle of the field. And it wasn't, and we stumbled. And it was at that point, I realised that was a really useful lesson, because you are now know what it's like to where someone you've had a miscommunication effectively.
Yeah,
it was my own stupidity. She was very good.
I wouldn't say stupidity. It's just you're new to it, and yeah.
And so the other thing that was very difficult for me, and we'll chat a little about this maybe, but I found whenever I could hear, because there was, I don't know, maybe there was 12 people, 6 bunches of people on a field, but anytime I heard anybody near me, at least at the start, it was very, very disconcerting. It was like terrifying. I'm thinking,
can you imagine Emma guiding me in New York?
That's what I was.
When we turned onto First Avenue, I mean, you ran it at the same time I did.
Well, ran it is a euphemism for me, but you ran it. I sort of, anyway.
Yeah, well, completed it. Yes, it was a good day. But yeah, turning onto First Avenue where I couldn't hear her, and she's not a shy, retiring lady. She's forceful and loud when she needs to be. She wouldn't be. I can't make a noise now. It might upset the supporters. She would. She would give it full volume. Please. Still couldn't hear her. So on the hoof, what she did was, because she was obviously, I don't know why, I think it's because I'm right-handed and I want my right hand free to faff around with nutrition and other bits. Yeah. Maybe that's why. She's on my left-hand side. She grabbed either my wrist, my forearm, or my elbow, and just with a gentle pull, nothing like crazy, I could just feel that she meant go left, go right, and that worked really well when it was crazy loud in New York. Yeah. So. Yeah, it's just, let's say, she made it up on the fly. It worked perfectly. We've kind of mentioned the tunnel vision.
Yep.
And we mentioned this fuzzy. There are 2 other aspects that I don't know if you want to tell us.
Absolutely, 100%.
Well, again, it's not in any particular order, so again, it might need a little bit of sorting out. But say it's a genetic thing from birth with no treatment or cure at the moment. It's slow degradation over time. So I didn't know about it until I was in my 20s, so about 5 or 10 years ago, maybe. Yeah, plus a bit. So, and the main symptom, what in my opinion makes this the real sort of exciting narrative almost for this whole sort of why do the Midnight Sun Marathon over any other marathon, is the fact that the first symptom that most people with my condition get is night blindness. So first thing that you struggle with is, say, just seeing in the dark, especially going from lighter to darker environments. So for someone who now, this is like 20 odd years on, in even like dusky conditions, I have to really use visual aids and tools and concentrate like mad. So to go to a place in the world where for just over 2 months the sun doesn't set, and to run a marathon there, I mean, I couldn't go out for a run in the UK starting at 8:30 at night.
Yeah.
Even at the end of June, at the longest day, I might get a half hour in if I was very lucky, and I'd be stressed about getting back before it got dark, just because I've tried it in the past on local club runs. I've got some great local club Uckfield runners is fabulous. In fact, 3 of my guides have been from their friends from the local club and run leaders there, and I've gone out with them on their club runs and they've guided me. They similar techniques that you've experienced on your guiding course. And it's not that I was running slower. I was running slower. It was just scary, heart in mouth. And it's not because I didn't trust them. It was that it's almost like telling yourself to close your eyes and go and run, and someone else will tell you where the obstacles are. It's not an easy or comfortable thing to do. So, yeah, getting out at night and running is very difficult. So the idea of starting this marathon at 8:30 at night in Norway, and say by my prediction would be somewhere between, we'll finish 4.5 to 5 hours, maybe, hopefully.
Yeah.
So there we go. But that puts it about 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
There is no way I would be running at that time. I'd be walking, crawling, crying maybe. In the dark, it is like night and day, the difference between, I mean, the vision's not great in the daylight. It's gone in the darkness. That thing of most people go into like a cinema or theatre and their eyes would adjust and they will see the steps, the chairs. If there's people in chairs, nothing happens for me. It's just like I might as well shut my eyes. So you can imagine having that vision and going out for a run. No, thank you. Yeah. That's where the guide is very, very helpful and useful and necessary. Yeah. So thank you for stepping up. I don't think we said the name of my eye condition.
Oh yeah, sorry, go on. Yeah, what is the name of your eye condition?
The name of my eye condition is, ready for this? It's a big long medically type word. It's what words? Yeah. It's retinitis pigmentosa, but most people call it RP for short, which I much prefer because.
Yes, they kept talking about RP the other night. They said RP, hang on, and they said that RP, it might be similar to, I mean, they said, I don't know, but
glaucoma.
Yes, that's exactly what they said. Yes. And they said that you might have. Funny enough, they did say that because I've written it. I've got these notes and I've written these notes. You might have a lot of glare sensitivity, and it's one of the things.
On my do list.
It's on my do list to check the height of the sun in Tromsø.
To be fair, I should be okay because I always run with a cap, not this one, but a cap. This is like an everyday cap that I would wear. I wouldn't wear it for running. It's too absorbent. I've got one that's lighter material, much better. Or I've got a handful of them that thankfully I have to rotate because otherwise they would be rather disgusting. So they need to have enough for a week's worth so they can go through the washing machine, etc. But so it's rare that I run with sunglasses. I might at the weekend on a sun. It's just because I'm going from light to dark is the worst for me. And there's some bits because I do go out on my own because I stick to the same routes. It's boring as heck, but it's safer because I still have enough acuity to see the shapes. I've run past apparently loads of people that I've known, and I haven't known it was them either at all or until much later. And so, we saw you out running and that. And oh, did you? Because to me, they are either cars or shapes of people that I just need to make sure I go around. And I can see enough of that. But when it's one person here, one person there, because where I live in Uckfield in East Sussex is reasonably rural, so it's not too crowded. So with the fuzzy tunnel vision in the daylight, I can get away with it.
Yeah.
But you put me in any sort of crowded environment or anything like that, no, there's too much going on. I can't navigate it safely at all. So there's bits where it goes from light to dark. In fact, one bit, I think it scares my wife, where I go down, it's quite steep downhill. I do put the brakes on and it's got so dark there at times because it's got really tall trees for about 100 yards, where I position myself centrally by feeling the camber of the road. So that's the only time I wear the sunglasses, if I think I'm going to be going from quite bright conditions into quite dark conditions and out again. So I'll just go eyes, bring hat, and they just go up and down and up and down, and just means that it just takes the edge off that transition from the lightest light to the darkest dark. It gives me a better chance, but then I slow down. And again, I run this. It's honestly, I could give you like a yard by yard description of my standard sort of 13 to 16k route. It's every weekend. It's part of my long run. In fact, on Sunday when I've got 25 kilometers, it might actually be 26. So I don't think I've got a good 25k route. It's going to be 2 13-ish k loops. So up, round, down. Yeah. So
I'll be.
But it's boring, but it's safe. And I put a podcast on, running podcast, of course. Yeah. And it's me time, and just get it done. And the Midnight Sun Marathon, in theory, was going to be my first ever marathon back in 2020.
Wow.
I started running like in about 2019. I looked it up today and that, and yeah, it was going to be the Midnight Sun Marathon in 2020 because of the night blindness and 2020 vision.
Ah, yes, of course.
I mean, how
Yeah,
cheesy is that? And I thought raise some money for the charity from in UK for my eye condition.
yeah,
And I think I had a bit of a foot
yeah.
injury around Christmas time, which kind of put me off. And then I don't know if you remember what people were doing in about March 2020, but if you have a good memory, the answer is staying at home a lot and not doing many marathons or anything else. So it never happened.
Today is Friday, the 31st of May 2024, and the Garmin says I'll run the Tromsø Midnight Sun Marathon in 3 weeks and 1 day, and I will run it in 3 hours, 50 minutes and 9 seconds. So training's been going fine. I've made some more different kit choices. I'm going to go to same Kendall Mint Nutrition. I think there's a couple of things here and there yet to be tied down based on a couple of different strategies that Chris and I might have for the race. There's a couple of decisions that I'm going to make, and I'm getting kit to support those decisions, but that'll come in a later segment. Today I'm going to hop on another Teams call to Chris, and I'm going to try and find out a little bit about Chris's running history. He mentioned some things the last time we were on Teams, and for the sake of some sort of brevity and structure, I cut those out, and we're going to go back and dive in to Chris's running history. So we'll dive in, see how he's getting on. Chris, in the last time we had a Teams call, you mentioned things about your journey into running and some tennis. And because the segment was really about vision, I thought we'd come back and we'd revisit that today. So if you could just tell us something about your journey, about how you got interested in running, and bearing in mind you've run all 6 majors. If you could tell us a little bit about how you got into the running, that would be great.
Yep, sure. Well, it starts like a lot of things when I was actually a child and I was never that fit or fast. I enjoyed sports, but I was never any good at them, never athletically built. So my mum was very much into tennis, and she would take me along to tennis with her, and I'd play a bit, nothing special. Joined local tennis clubs and played very sort of low level, very amateur against other local tennis clubs type stuff. Kept that going because I just enjoyed it. I wasn't particularly good, but it was fun. It was social. It was just keep me. I wasn't that fit, but fitter than I would have been otherwise. And then just carried on playing that for many years into my, would it be 30s or so. Then got diagnosed with my eye condition, and then that started to impact my ability to play regular tennis. I was really struggling to see the ball quickly enough to hit it cleanly, and it just was no fun. And so then again, another sort of tangent. Actually, I did just over 10 years ago now, in April 2014, I did a 100-kilometre trek for a UK charity for people with my eye condition in the Sahara Desert. And that was really cool. But a chap on there was very much into his sport, and he said, "Oh, there's visually impaired tennis, you know." No, I don't know. So I went along to try it out at the National Tennis Centre in London, which is like, to me, that's the place where all the top players go. Andy Murray, and people of that nature. So it's like, I rock up a total average at best club player. I was absolute imposter syndrome, to the max. But all the players there were really friendly, really positive, and so I started playing, sort of blind or visually impaired tennis, which is like normal tennis, but with a sort of foam ball with a rattle in it, basically. And that progressed well because I've played tennis in the past. I could play it to a decent level, and within a few years, I won 2 years in a row, won my sight category in the British National Championships, which led me to go to the very first international championships, where I won my sight category there. So I became the first British blind world champion in blind tennis, and then won it the year after. But I knew at that point that my fitness was my biggest weakness. So where I live in Uckfield, a 24-hour gym opened up, and I joined it before it even opened its doors. They were still in the sort of the putting in the machines phase. I signed up early bird offer. I'm still a member today, so still got a good rate, which is nice. And improved my fitness. That went well. So the transition to the running then comes. My fitness was getting better, and it's sort of a slightly sad story. A friend that we knew, her father, unfortunately, he passed away in 2019. But he was a run leader for a local running club in sort of the southeast London, North Kent area of England, and they were holding like a little just not a race, just a run, 10-kilometer run in his memory. And the daughter, her friend, she was going to take part, but she didn't want to take part on her own. So she asked my wife if she would like to join her. Yes, she wasn't much of a runner, neither was I. But I said, can I join in just to see how it goes? I've never run that far before. 10 kilometres, that's like forever, isn't it? I know, coming to marathons, that seems like madness. But at the time, it's like, yeah. So I was a bit worried. So I even did 10K on the treadmill beforehand, thinking, can I do 10K? 10K on a treadmill was really hard. I'm sure people have done it, but it's not easy. So yeah, set off and did that. And I stayed at the back, making sure my wife and some of the other slow runners were okay, and sort of chatting to people. It was quite nice. And we got about a kilometre to the end. And one of the guys in charge of it, he sort of spotted me with my bright, whereas usually when I go out running, I wear like a fluorescent t-shirt with visually impaired written on it in big, bold, black letters. I know it's not a fashion statement, but I feel I have to advertise that I may not see them as clearly as they would otherwise appreciate. And he saw this and he was so apologetic. Oh, I've sort of abandoned you. I'm so sorry. Right, you must run with me. And the last kilometre of that 10 kilometres, admittedly it was downhill, but it was definitely the fastest kilometre of the day by probably a minute or something. I mean, I couldn't tell you what the pace was, but yeah, we went flying down this road and finished. And that was my first like proper running experience. And I was thinking, people here are lovely. No one has to beat anyone else. We can all have a lovely day out. This is lovely. I've just got this really warm sort of feeling inside. And yeah, we just chopped for like a coffee or whatever afterwards. And that was fabulous. So then I thought, I need to do more of this. And I knew there was a local running club, funny enough, called Uckfield Runners, because that's what you would call running club in Uckfield, I imagine. And so I joined up there, and they do a bunch of different runs. And took it from there, basically. So that was so it was late 2019. I had a plan in my head thinking, I've got a nice pun in my head. I thought, we love a pun, don't we? So, so I thought, I could run the Midnight Sun Marathon, genuinely, the one that we're going to do in, was it 3 weeks and in 1 day, 3 weeks and 1 day. And I thought I could run that for the charity that I did the trek for, so it's the same charity for my eye condition, in 2020 with a race of money with the 2020 vision pun. I thought that'd be perfect. Then two things conspired against me. I've got a problem with my foot, which was just painful to walk on, let alone running. That took a bit of time and attention from some specialists. It's fine now, but I was going to struggle to do it anyway. And then it got to about March 2020, and as we all very sadly know, pandemic hits, international travel is not a viable option, so it didn't happen. So after that, that was my hopes or dreams of doing that crushed, but oh well, never mind. So lockdown hits, I get unfit and I put on weight, so I can't go for a run, and my coping mechanism was to find the back of the fridge where all the good stuff hides and and consume that. So I went back to probably pre-pandemic weight, went back to the gym when it reopened. In fact, I got a PT there for 1 month just to sort of kickstart me, and just got back on the trail, got working, got fitter again. And then I now realised that because of the pandemic, they'd moved London to October. That's because London being almost like, kind of my local, certainly my local major. And you could say Brighton's my local marathon, but in terms of big marathons, it'd be London. Yeah. And it's one you see on the TV more than Brighton, of course. And I remember seeing that from when I was a child, thinking, it'd be cool to do that. But that's really, if I'm struggling with 10K, I've got no chance of doing a marathon. That's madness. But then I realised in sort of mid 2022 that that London would be in October of the year for the last time. It was switched back after that to its traditional April date. And because of the night blindness, I know that I didn't think I'd ever be able to run a spring marathon. Because of training in the winter, I just can't get the volume or miles in because I just can't. It's really unsafe and not easy for me to run at night. So I have a way of getting around that in the winter, which I won't go into now. But it basically it's very targeted, fewer miles and a lot of cross training. So I thought this is my best chance in 2022 to run London. So I put into the ballot, and then I was very, very, very lucky, and I did get a place for the ballot first time. So I've put people out there shouting at their screens now because
me.
Yeah, sorry, but yeah, seriously, it's one of those things where I don't know how it happened, but the charity was already going to give me a place to run and race for them. So I ran for them anyway, but just without a fundraising target.
Yeah.
And then I heard that there was this thing called the 6 marathon majors. And I thought, oh, shiny. Not even just the shiny of the medal, just the concept and the challenge of doing all that. So I think it must have been before I'd even run London. Because in the June, I'd signed up for the guaranteed entry for New York in 2023, just like you did, I believe.
Yep.
And so I ran London. As one of my practices for London with my guy for London, another runner, we ran a local trail. I say trail, it's not off-road, it's called Cuckoo Trail, but it's not traily, it's all tarmacked. But there were sections of that where it was too dark for me to run. So I ended up doing my virtual marathon after London, about 3 or 4 weeks after, around the local track.
Oh, I remember
Seriously,
that.
106 laps of the track.
Yeah, because we're from Tromsø, so I remember watching that. Yeah.
Thinking he's lost his mind. Yes. Well, it was the safest way for me to do it, and I got it done. So London in beginning of September 22. That was my very first marathon, and then did the virtual for New York to get me in for last year, and then I started looking up for other races and things that I could do, other big marathons, and contacted Boston about the qualifying times and things for them. And I said, oh no, if you've got a London time of under 5 hours, and I did by a hole about 5 or 6 minutes, so not a lot, but doesn't matter. And they said, we'll take you in 2023. At which point I couldn't. I don't think I could type the word yes correctly because my fingers were shaking so much. I mean, someone's going to give you a place at Boston. How quickly can you say yes? I mean, there was no saying no to that. No. So, because I was thinking they'd say I thought I'd missed the deadline for the registration. So I was like, what do I exactly have to do to enter for the one that you ran this year?
Yep.
And they said that will take you for 23 on your Boston time. So yep, straight in, did that. And I was already applied for Berlin and Chicago. So I kept pushing with them. So I got in on the Chicago ballot, but not on the Berlin ballot. So I did Berlin through a local tour company. I say local, British-based tour company.
Yeah.
Which, because it was only Berlin, it wasn't outrageously expensive. Was you paying a little bit more because you're getting their services? But I thought it was, it was in line with what you were getting, in my opinion. Obviously, the hotel, the race entry, etc. So. That was good. So that was a tough little section for me last autumn or fall because I did the 3 marathon majors in a 6-week span.
Ooh,
yeah, that hurt. I felt that one definitely. So I was 5 down, 1 to go, and so I really pushed hard with Tokyo. Did all those virtual challenges and everything. And I was one of the people who was told that they got into both the half and the full, and then was told, oh no, we got it wrong, it's just a half. So I had that elation and then sort of disappointment. That was very sad. So I ended up going for it at a charity place. I calculated that it would be kind of cheaper for me to just sort of pay for the charity place myself. I had a budget based on hotel costs, flight costs, etc., versus a tour company. And so I had a budget. I bid the budget. I got in. Went over there, ran it, and with the help of all up to that point, my guides have been friends, people mostly from Uckfield runners, apart from one guy who's actually he ran the same race. That 10K I talked about a few minutes ago. He friend from where I grew up, sort of southeast London, North Kent area, and he guided me that one. But all people who are friends, and they guided me. Different ones in different marathons, so I've been super lucky to have such a great bunch of running friends. But to go to Tokyo, I think I'd sort of dried them out, certainly financially, I imagine. So I actually reached out to the head of a charity organisation called Achilles, the UK branch of Achilles International, who provide a lot of guide runners for a variety of running events. Doesn't have to be marathons, can be a local park run, can be anything like that. And so spoke to their guy and said, I know we had never met, but explained briefly who I was and said, I know you're wearing your Achilles hat, any chance you could help me out? Do you know of anyone who might guide me? And he found a few names. I spoke to them, and a lovely lady by the name of Anne, she didn't fly out with me, but she came out to Tokyo doing it her own way, and she guided me around Tokyo, the streets of Tokyo, very safely, very nicely. And we got there to the finish, and I got my swanky 6-star medal, which I didn't decide to wear. I thought that'd be a bit too showy, but
You'll have to wear that. You'll have to wear that next time, or bring it to Norway or something. We'll get a good picture of you, because I remember seeing pictures of you after the race. Obviously, in it, it was fantastic, and seeing your name on the wall in Boston was amazing. Because I mean, there's lots of, I don't know how many names are on the wall. Is it 800 or something? But seeing someone that you know on the wall is kind of nice. You kind of think, I might get there.
Well, I'd forgotten that it would be there in Boston. I'd totally blanked that Boston was happening at that point. I'd got myself sort of out of sync. And I think, well, before Boston, what it had been? It had been about 15,000. It's now just over 17,000 with 6-star. But
right.
I believe I'm still so far, well, I should be the first. And at the moment, I think I'm still the only British blind person to have a 6-star medal, I think. I've put it out there in a few different sort of vision impaired groups and that, saying that, and does anybody know if I'm wrong? And no one said I'm wrong. So until I'm told I'm wrong, I'm going to carry on claiming it. I don't think that's unreasonable.
No, I think that's
I have checked with Abbott as well. I did check with Abbott. I asked them about it. Judy, Lady Abbott World Majors, she's been fabulous. Without her, between us, we managed to actually get New York and Tokyo to change their rules. I don't know if you know this, until just over a year ago, until like sort of January 2023, they both of those marathons, they didn't give out even medals to guide runners. You could get a free place. Really? Yeah. You could get a free place as a guide runner, but you would be a total, I would like to describe as a ghost runner. You wouldn't appear in the results, which is, some races do that, some races don't. But you literally you wouldn't even get a medal as you cross the line.
That's crazy, because you've run a marathon.
And I contacted both of the marathons through their sort of regular contact channels to say, could someone consider changing the policy, because it made it very difficult for me to convince anyone to come and guide me. Would you like to travel halfway across the world, spend a 4-figure sum, run the race, and not even have a medal to show for it at the end, when they're giving out tens of thousands of medals anyway? I know they're earned rather than just sort of giving out like candy, but nevertheless. And the usual, just got blanked basically. And because I had a good response from this lady at Abbott on a different topic, I just reached out to her and said, I've been contacting these people at these addresses, and I'm not able to get anywhere. Do you know of any better email addresses or anyone else I can contact, please? And she didn't divulge who, but she just forwarded my email on to obviously some people higher up. She's obviously got connections, which is lovely. Yeah. And within a week, New York had got back to me and said, yes, we're changing our policy for not just the marathon, but all our New York road runners races, whether it's halves, 10Ks, 5Ks, all guide runners will get medals. And then a week after that, Tokyo said, we're changing our policy for the marathon. The guide runners will get medals. And that would have been in effect in 2023. It would have hit before they ran the 2023 edition of Tokyo. So although you could say getting my 6-star medal and becoming the first blind Brit to do that, becoming the first blind British tennis champion, all those things, I mean, I've done some pretty good stuff, I'd suggest, in my life. Probably the one with the biggest legacy, and one that I'm probably most proud of, is, obviously I couldn't have done it without Judy's help, but nevertheless, getting them to change the policies, there's the legacy in that will help other vision impaired or disabled runners, and get guide runners in the future and help the guide runners as well. So I'm actually quite proud of that.
Well done, Chris. That's great. I hadn't realised that, and it's great to know that Abbott do have a function other than selling us stuff. That is actually really nice to know, because I think that is something that's of huge value to a huge number of people. So I'm training and everything is going well, and I think next week we might talk about kit. I've bought some more kit. It's what I like to do. So I couldn't resist it. So I bought some more stuff. So we'll go through that next week, because I've got the kit nearly. I'm waiting for it to arrive and then figure out, because I got there's a couple of things about why, and I'll do that. We might do that next week, as we're both getting a bit. It's 3 weeks in a day, as you said. So we are getting fairly close. My flights are all booked. Your flights are all booked, aren't they?
Oh yeah. I booked them when we booked the hotels and stuff, and booked them.
Yeah. So all of that's sorted out. So I just have a few kit decisions to make myself, and that's about it. I'm going to Oslo I have to change my flight to Oslo because I'm going to be doing something with the embassy in Oslo for Bloomsday, for James Joyce's Bloomsday, which is it's going to be on the 17th. Bloomsday is the 16th, but then I'm going to fly up. So yeah, everything's going well. I'm very excited. I'm really looking forward to it, Chris. And yeah, we'll see you next week when we'll go through kit, and I'm expecting that you'll be telling me what shoes you're running in at that point in time, and telling to whoever's watching. So we'll go through that next week, and yeah, see you in a week.
So today is Friday the 7th of June 2024. The watch is telling me I'm going to run the Tromsø Midnight Marathon in 2 weeks and 1 day in, let's see, tells me I'm going to run it in 3 hours, 50 minutes and 52 seconds. But training has been going well. I've got one long run to do on Sunday. Today is Friday. And I ran last weekend. I ran in Westport, County Mayo in Ireland. I went down to, well, my nephew's stag, but my plan was to run the Great Western Greenway and then make a video about that. I haven't released the video yet because I didn't really enjoy, I enjoyed running the Great Western Greenway, but I think there's better places to run. So I'm going to reformulate the video and we'll do that. But I did use it as a way of testing the last pieces of kit that I'm going to use, or almost all the last pieces of kit I'm going to use, or certainly the approach to the kit I'm going to use. Let's put it that way. So today we're going to meet Chris. I'm going to go online to a Microsoft Teams meeting again in another, 10-15 minutes, something like that. I'm going to go and meet Chris, and we're going to go through the kit we're going to wear in the Midnight Sun Marathon in Tromsø in Norway in 2 weeks and 1 day's time. See you in a minute. Chris, we're here and we're going to go through our kit. Okay, now just so the viewers know, I have a regular camera up there, so because I'm probably going to show my own stuff in high definition, and then you're going to hold your stuff up to the camera, and we're going to be wearing it in Norway, so they're going to see it anyway in the next video. And if in doubt, I could drop in a screenshot of something that it is. So that's all going to be fine. So we're going to start at the top of our heads, which, just so the viewers know, the top of your head is way higher up than the top of my head. Okay, so first of all, how tall are you?
Oh, well, it used to be almost 6'2", but as I'm getting older, I have to say 6'1", which I think is about 187 centimeters.
Okay, and when we get down to the shoes, I know you're going to embarrass me even further, because I'm 5'8" and a tiny bit on a good day, hanging upside down from a ledge. But however, right, hats first. What are you going to wear on your wonderful head?
Well, my head's not so wonderful, so I'm going to cover it actually with this hat, which is, I can't remember the exact make and model, but it's an Under Armour hat. I've got a few of these in different colours, and I tend to go with the white one for race day. Don't know why, it just feels a bit more reflective of any sun to cool myself down, but I won't take it off because I'm an older man and there's not a lot of protection to the sun on the top of my head. And so rather than the visor, it's got a bit of holes in it so I don't get too hot, but it covers the top of my head so I don't get burnt and sort of sunstrokey and sick. And as part of with my condition, having a peak is imperative when I'm out and about or running or anything outside, because I just need that sort of to keeping the sun or out of my eyes. Cool. So that's what I've got.
Okay, well, ironically enough, I'm almost similar. I'm wearing my white Asics hat. And for very similar reasons to yourself, reflect the blazing Norwegian midnight sun. It's really comfortable, really ventilated. I often run in on-running hats, but I don't have one in white. And actually, I really love this hat. I've run a marathon before in this hat. So, and then that will, for the same reasons as you, I wear glasses, and the peak keeps the light off my eyes, and it could be low sun, as we both know. And then also, if it rains, it keeps sort of droplets from forming all over over my glasses. So yeah, so at the top of our heads we're going okay. Now the next level down, we're wearing bibs, so you're going to tell us about those.
Yeah, okay, right, I'm gonna have to dive off to the right. All my kit's down here. So bib wise, what have we got? We've got, so there's one each. So my one, it's got I put my name on the front of it because I quite like that, and just says visually impaired. If you can see that on the camera,
yep,
front and back. So people behind us or in front of us, well, from my perspective, they can tell it's me, but it's only like a drawstring or a tie-up string at the side. Where's it got? Yeah, sort of just ties up at the side. So it just goes over a regular T-shirt, which I do have as well. But it's nice and bright, and and I'll hand this over to you when we meet up in Norway. But we've got a matching one. I won't be wearing this one. That'd be very confusing and foolish. But for your good self, we have the equivalent with guide, front and back as well. So again, nice and clear what's happening. So if anyone doesn't see what's happening between the pair of us, that I'm visually impaired and you're guiding me, then I'd question their eyesight.
Perfect. And then what are you wearing under the vest? What are you wearing?
Okay, right. I'm going to have a little, say, semi-rummage. It's down here. Okay. So this is my sort of standard sort of marathon race day top, which I know you're aware of because I believe you've got the green one, is it? So this is my Innovate running top. It's pretty about the last time it should get worn. It's had quite a few races in it, but it's light. I quite like the fact that the sort of the hem kind of comes in a bit so it doesn't billow out too much. It's not super dark, but it's dark enough compared to the fluorescent yellow. So it's a good contrast. I've worn it in most, if not all, of my marathons and other races. So tried and tested. I know it works. So yeah, that's the t-shirt for the day.
Okay, and I'm going to go with this yellow t-shirt, which probably is, I'm trying to magically make it appear here. I've also got the camera there, but it's my Soar running t-shirt. I've run it several times, several marathons, and I was out running, you'll be glad to know, in the green version of the Innovate top, making a video the other day, and I was actually referring to you in the video, but I never released a video for a variety of bonkers reasons. But I might release it. It was about running out in Westport, but I was out doing tried and tested gear running that I might use on the day. But most likely I'll be in the yellow Soar running t-shirt. And then we're wearing hydration vests. So tell us about yours.
Okay, right. Mine is, again, see down on the floor somewhere. There it is, right. Okay, nothing particularly fancy. It's a standard one off the Amazon UK website by, and I'm probably going to butcher the pronunciation, Ionigi. That's what it says on there. Don't know if you can see that on the camera, but I've had it printed with visually impaired. Sometimes I'll have the high vis over the top of it, so it doesn't matter. Sometimes I run without it over the top. So again, I know it sounds a bit sad, but I like to advertise to other people around me, not just in a race, in training as well, that I have the visual impairment. So in case there's a bit of a mini sort of incident, I have told people. So yes, I've got that. So with that, so it's got all the usual pockets and bits and bobs. Yes, so that's, well, and I've got, where is it? It's not the one that comes with it. This is a sort of a walking one that I've got, but hydration, ladder, hose. I think it's a platypus big zip thing. So I'll be putting my nutrition in there, which I know we'll come on to later. But yes, I'm a control freak, so I like to have it all under my control.
Yeah, and I thought I was the control freak. Right, well, because you're wearing a hydration bladder and vest, I decided I would too, because when I went on to the visually impaired training, it became obvious that if and we don't think there will be, but if there was a lot of litter on the ground, it would be a lot easier to run by it rather than stop. And also, as you probably know from a lot of drink stations, people suddenly stop, they move in and out, it's chaotic, and that's chaotic for me, and the two of us would be chaotic. So I have a very nice Salomon Sense Pro 5, which I've reviewed, trail vest and hydration, but it takes the hydration in the front. And because I'm going to be trying to do what I did the last time with nutrition and have it in the bottles, I wanted a bottle of water. So I bought this, which I haven't reviewed yet. So hopefully I'll get around to reviewing this for next week's video. So this is an on-running 10-litre vest. And I bought this in white. And the reason I bought this, and the reason I bought the 10-litre, is you can slip a hydration bladder down the back. And so far, I haven't run in it, but so far I am beyond thrilled with this. It is really, really nice. And the way it converts from a 5-litre to 10-litre is very good. And then I was in Westport and I bought this. I hope this doesn't leak, because I didn't this is my hydration bladder, which is actually full of water because I'm making a video later. And this is the Velocity 2-litre 70 fluid ounce Hydro Pack. It's super light, and it was in a shop. I was going to try and get one online, and it was in a shop in Westport, County Mayo in Ireland that I was there, and that was really good. And then I'm going to be using the bottles in the front. I'm using everything is pretty much made by Hydro Pack, but these ones are really good because they
I don't know, I have lots of these, but these ones came with the jacket. But they're pointy, so it slips in easily. The Salomon ones I have a sort of hard, it's like half a ping pong ball, but more firm. And lots of people have found that they cut into them. And I didn't notice that before, but at the weekend it happened a little bit. And then these ones have a very wide filling top, which is nice. And they also have, which is kind of interesting, which I've never seen on any Hydro Packs, is a little hook down the bottom, so you can turn it upside down if you're drying it out. So that's my top scenario. So that's all my top. Right, okay, shorts.
Shorts, right, okay. Now I've got, where do I put the, just throwing everything on the floor now. Right, okay, that looks like a pair of shorts. Now this is not a pair of running shorts.
Yeah.
They are regular pair of shorts. They're a pair of Adidas tennis shorts. The reason being is I found that most running shorts, I mean, they've got no second skin to them. I don't like a liner inside. I'll wear sort of proper running underwear. But so I just want a normal pair of shorts. And it's very difficult to find some that have just got a decent set of sort of left and right pockets. And actually, shorts for tennis, because you're used to sort of putting a tennis ball or two in your pocket, have very generous pockets. So I can put tissues or discarded wrappers or a tether, which I know we'll get onto, all sorts of, I mean, not like heavy stuff to run a whole racing, but little occasional bits and bobs. I do find it very useful. So yes, that's
Cool.
that's what I use.
And then the liner that you're using, because I'm fussy about liners as well, and I have a variety of short combos that way. What liner are you going to use?
Well, it's not actually a liner. It is literally, now, does anyone want to see my running underwear? Or that get the channel taken off?
You could describe it. I mean, you don't have to model it.
They're not going to win any prizes for anything, how should I put it politely, too risque. But no, I mean, it's a pair of underwear briefs, merino, whatever, non-seam, blah, blah, blah.
Cool.
Works perfectly for me. I mean, with some anti-chafe bits and bobs added to it, but and some nipple plasters up top, because, yeah, we don't need that. That's really painful. But, yeah, no liners for me in a race.
Yeah, I will be using my Gold Bond Friction Defense, which is my lube of choice. I've always used it, and I love it. A couple of times, and I'll need to remember this time, I might lube parts of where the jacket might rub, like so in here, and do the nipples and the groin and all that sort of stuff. Do all that, and then for my shorts, I'm wearing these. Now, thankfully, we're not in smell-o-vision, because I haven't had a chance to wash these since the weekend. But I'm wearing, I mean, they're dark, but these are the N normal. I think it's the only pair of shorts they make, but they're trail running shorts. They're the closest thing I've got to running commando. They've no zipped pocket, and they have sort of pockets around for, as you said, gel wrappers and trash and stuff like that. But I wouldn't put anything secure. But I think they are designed, because they're Kilian Jeanette Borgata's En Normal series. They are designed for someone who's also running with a hydration jacket or vest. So the foam that I'm going to bring and all that will be up top. So that should be me sorted out. I haven't figured out exactly how I'm going to pack in everything yet. I'm going to do that by using Quinn, my trusty model, here whilst making a video and loading it up and figuring out and a few things like that. So that's that. Okay, socks. What are your socks of choice?
Socks. Okay, right. Well, it's we have some Thorlo Xperia sort of ankle, whatever you want to call them, with, well, I can't remember the exact details, but yeah, they've got that sort of bits where it gets a bit more hydration-y, but they're pretty blister resistant for me. I've been wearing this make and model, maybe different colours as they sort of get worn out over the years. But lasted, I mean, I wear them every single run. Well, not this exact pair, I've got a bunch of them, but yeah, I run quite often, funnily enough, so they get worn out, but I think they last well for the price, etc. So these are my socks. But also I've torn my calf up a few times in the last couple of years, so above them, just purely for calf protection, I think it looks attractive. In fact, I think it's the opposite. Now, again, I can't read what the make is on here. I think it's Ribora or something, but some calf sleeves. So I'll have one. Well, I've got a pair of them. So obviously one each. Both my calves have had issues in the past couple of years. So they'll go sort of above them. And hopefully protect my calves and stop anything untoward happening. I wear them every single run, even if it's a short, easy pace run or hard effort marathon, doesn't matter. I'd rather wear them and give myself every chance than risk it.
I had a pair of sore running calf sleeves. I've lost one of them, but I thought they were fantastic. I loved running them, particularly in the summertime. I just found they were great to run in, but I lost one and I stopped wearing them. And I have had that exact pair of socks. I've completely forgotten about it, but a couple of years ago I had that exact pair of socks, but in bright yellow. And if I had them, I would wear them if I had them in bright yellow, because just like you, I found the Thorlo socks to be really good, and they looked identical. It's kind of like there's a bulbous end where your ankle goes in and a bulbous end where your toe goes in, and almost nothing holding in between. And I did enjoy those, but I'm going to be running in this is a white pair of this is my on running socks, and so pretty much in every marathon I run in on running socks. I have all sorts of pairs of them, a lot of red pairs and a lot of white pairs, and I try and keep at least one pair in reasonable state for marathons. So I'm going to be wearing those, and I go for a kind of mid sock because I don't want any wearing in around my ankles, which I've had before on various shorter runs in various shoes. So just to avoid all that and for the avoidance of doubt, and I haven't had the slightest bother ever in a marathon in my on running socks. And I think what people, I mean, on running make expensive stuff, but they have a lot of regular sales. And if you actually go down into the past areas, you can pick these up for like €9.95. And so there are actually quite cheap, and they come in a variety of colours. So the big one, your platform shoes. What are you wearing?
Stilettos. No, not quite. So right, see if I can get these on the screen properly. Are they good?
Yeah, they look good.
These are Asics Super Blast. My second pair of original Super Blast. The other ones they started off a nice sort of lime yellow colour, and they're now a combination of mud and yellow. So yes, so these have got not even 100k in them, and yeah, like you're saying, there's 40 mil or just over 40 mil of stack in the back. But I did my previous marathon in the other Super Blasts. Again, I wasn't racing it, so they were absolutely fine. They're nice and light. I like the higher cushioned or higher stack shoes. I think it gives my legs and joints more protection. And so yes, I need to gain back that extra couple of inches that age has taken away from me. So yes, I quite like the colourway as well. So yes, that will be my my shoe of choice for the day.
Yeah, well, I haven't got a pair of those, but I'm going to be running these, which is the New Balance Fuel Cell Super Comp Elite version 4, and these I was running in these at the weekend, and I bought these, and I've done various tests and various videos on them, and they are really comfortable, really stable. They're not ultimately as fast as my Alphafly 3s as far as I can go in them, but I think they're going to be really great for the marathon. And again, when I was out running in them, I mean, the test of a shoe usually for me when I'm out running is how much am I thinking about the shoe and how much am I thinking about other things. And when I was on my 3-hour run in Westport the other day, I don't think I thought about the shoe whatsoever, and we're both running on asphalt and I think or tarmac or pavement, and the surface should be okay, so I'm not worried about grip or anything like that. Even if it was lightly raining, I'll still be wearing those, and they are, so I'm really looking forward to running those. Are you bringing what technology are you bringing with you?
Oh, I've got quite a lot of techie bits. Right, so I just go through, I think it's 4 bits of tech actually. We'll start with what I'm wearing, because it's now over the last couple of months, it's my daily watch as well as my running watch. So I have my Garmin 255, that is. So that'll log all my runs, etc. To pair with that, this has just been washed off after her going for a run. So I've got the Garmin Archer HRM Pro Plus, I think it's called. So the later version of that, which gives you, as you very well know, a ton of lovely data when you pair it up with the Garmin watch. On my shoe, I'll be having FootPod, the Stride original FootPod, but only one of them. I'm not a duo like you with all the modern bits and bobs. That's enough for me. I couldn't justify the duo aspect. And the last techie bit of thing will be some shocks. What are these? These are the Pro Minis. I think it's the Pro. They're definitely the Mini. It's not the top one. It's the one down in terms of spec. it works great for me. The main reason for me doing that, I might explain this bit, is obviously got the vision impairment. On a good day, I can just about see my watch with a single data field on it. I know most people would have 3 or 4 data fields on their watch typically. If I do that, they're so small, I've got no chance of seeing them. So I might be able to read that. But what Garmin does, which I don't believe any of the other watch manufacturers do, is they have a thing called audio prompts, where if you just had your phone in your pocket, it would talk to you and it would tell you, you can configure it a bit, but it basically tells you your average pace or your lap pace. And every so many minutes that you choose, it can give you your average pace or your lap time as well. So I usually auto lap at 1 kilometre. And so every kilometre it will tell me what my last kilometre time was. And so with the Shocks headphones, I can hear it rather than having to look down. So when I do go for runs on my own, I'm sort of very standard, the same routes again and again. So I can really use my vision to see where I'm going and be safe. I don't have to look at my watch to see what's happening. I get that fed to me sort of through, well, I say through my ears, because we know it's actually conduction in your cheekbones. But yeah, so that's all the techie stuff for me. And I'm sure you've got a whole wardrobe of tech.
Yeah, well, I've got 2 watches and I've got 2 Stride foot pods, as you mentioned. So I'll go through briefly. And a similar enough story in some respects. I'm wearing a Garmin FR 955. It's the solar version. Solar, I don't think it does an awful lot, but I was reviewing it at the time and I thought, oh, why not get the gimmicky one? So I got that, and that I find very reliable, and I use it for all the distance and giving me metrics as I go along. So I pretty much use that. I'll use the Apple Watch paired to the 2 Stride foot pods, and I won't use it for very much because I'm not trying to run with power, and in most marathons I don't try and run with power. I did try in Boston, failed somewhat spectacularly, but nonetheless fantastic. It was a great race, it was really cracking. But I typically rely on the Garmin. I don't find the distance as accurate on my Apple Watch, so I usually use the Garmin. And again, because I wear the glasses, because I see with the glasses I can see really well. If I'm out training, which I'll be doing as soon as we hang up pretty much, I use the Stride foot pod with the Apple Watch, and the voice prompts tell me to speed up or slow down. Now, when we're running the marathon, that'll be turned off, otherwise it'll drive you and me mad, because my training partner Liam it drives him bonkers. But I'll be using both of those. I don't typically run with headphones. Very occasionally, if I really knew where I was going and various things, but I'm always worried about cars coming in and whatever. But if I do, I have a little controller, this Arcex thing I got, and I can control it with my thumb. And that's actually, I find that really good. But then the other thing, so you're going to be filming, and what are you going to be filming with?
Now that's the thing I didn't set up. Right, I'm going to whiz away and grab it. It's only over here. Back in a second. I knew I forget something.
But you can tell us as you go, because we've still got. Oh, you're back. You're already back.
Yeah. So we have, which way around is it? Right around that around. DJI Action number 2 with the power module on the bottom, and it will fit onto the support bracket, and that will clip onto one of the vertical straps on the hydration vest. I've done this in a couple of marathons before, and it works fine. So the trick is I haven't got it with me now, a power bank that goes in the back of the backpack with a long cable that comes over and then plugs into the side of the power unit on the bottom. Otherwise, you will not last approximately 5 hours of charge on one of those.
I have the same camera, and I haven't decided what I'm going to run with yet. I'm kind of going to be relying on some of your feed, but I'm going to bring some microphones, and I was testing those at the weekend. DJI make a microphone, and I might give you a little. It's a tiny little transmitter, and it's really superb. And but I might use the GoPro, but I will of course be bringing my iPhone 15 Pro Max, because it's funny. I get the best like still images effectively, or panoramas, from my iPhone. I find it very, very easy to use, and not so good from action for actually, the running stabilization things. So I may bring a GoPro. I probably will bring the DJI. I have a little hat clip or hat thing for it, and it actually
works, but it gets after a while it's tight. It can get, because you're having to rely on some sort of compression around your head. So I may or may not bring that, but I'm going to decide that a little bit closer to the day. I mean, I will bring lots of GoPros and that with me to Norway and filming you slaughtering the reindeer or whatever you'll be doing. So we'll do all that. But yeah, on the run itself, I'll bring a couple of microphones and a couple of cameras, and so I think that's all our kit. So we are now. Oh, go on.
I say there's a couple more bits. It depends if you want to talk about nutrition or a tether at all.
We'll talk about the tether, and then I thought we'll do nutrition next week. So, because next week's our last week.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So the other piece of kit we're going to definitely see all of it here is the tether. So it's got a loop each end, identical each end, bright yellow. I tend to prefer it just around my wrist. I don't want to have to be gripping it for many hours. Obviously, it's up to you how you hold or the other end. But it's quite good. You can run freely, but obviously you've got to be running the same pace, but that works nicely. And I know it sounds a bit weird. It's not quite, well, I suppose it's sort of visually impaired related. So most of the time to get around the place, obviously not running, I've got, she's folded up, but I don't know if you can see that well enough, quite a meaty, solid white cane. Now, if I was to try and use this or carry this during a marathon, I might as well put like a 5 kilo weight on my back. It would be a bit silly. So actually, what I have got is a much smaller, lighter cane. I promise you this weighs, I don't know, a fifth of what the other one weighs. And it's more like a cymbal cane. So what I'll do is I'll have that with me all the time. So when we leave the hotel on race, well, I say morning, it's not morning, of course, race evening, it gets very confusing, doesn't it? I'll have this with me. So yes, I will have the bibs on, etc. But if it's a cold evening, might have a jacket over the top to go in a drop bag. I don't know exactly, obviously depends on temperature, but I'll take this with me. It'll be unfolded, of course, on the day. And it's not as meaty as the other one, but I can hold it out in front of me, probably take your shoulder with a hand, for example. And it just helps me get through crowds, or helps us get through crowds easier. And then it's so light, with your help, we slide that in the hydration vest, no worries. And then it's nice and light, run the race. I don't even know it's there. Then we finish and got a breath back, get it out again. And then navigating afterwards, again, I've got a little bit of security of, I've got a white stick with me. So yes, that's the extra sort of, which most people wouldn't have to worry about, but I need to.
Well, look, the thing is we're 2 weeks and a day away, which is great. I'm very excited, as you can obviously see. And next week we might go through nutrition, but just about the weather. I've been checking the weather, and I've been getting weather reports from somebody in Norway, and who's telling me that summer has not yet arrived. But we're going to be okay with. One of the things about the weather is it's stable. So I've been looking at because it's at midnight, which tends to be, it's not like the sun is coming up or going down, or it's heating up or whatever. It's going to be pretty stable at that time of night. So we'll know in advance, because I think it's a Norwegian proverb, something about, there's no such thing as bad weather, just bad clothing. And we both have enough rain jackets and stuff. So it could be that we make a slight change here or there if it's pouring rain. But to be honest, I don't know. We'll see on the day. So I will see you in a week. We'll see you in a week, and then we'll go through nutrition and last minute preparations, worries, concerns. I haven't picked up an injury. That's my major achievement today, Chris. No injuries. So that's yeah. How about you? How's training gone? Gone well?
Yeah, going well. I had a sort of a lot of easier runs last week, or easy pace runs, and then had a tempo session yesterday, which went really well in a particular pair of shoes. And no one that we're here to advertise shoes, but they went well. I enjoyed it. Could chat about that later. And so that gave me a bit of confidence. And then tomorrow I've got quite a challenging long run. So that will be another fun run for me. But yeah, no injuries. I haven't managed to stack it too badly with loads of overgrown trees. We've had a lot of rain and sun in England. So everything, all the pavements are overgrown with sort of branches and things. So yeah, I think I have to just slow down a bit, sort of go through them and lose a few seconds, but stay upright. And I keep seeing my sports massage therapist lady, and she's keeping me ticking over, and the usual sort of aches and pains, but and what you get with paranoia, which is a real thing. But no, all good, raring to go, really looking forward to it.
Brilliant. Right, well, I'll see you, and we'll see all the viewers next week. According to my watch, it's Friday the 14th of June 2024, and according to the Garmin, I'm running the Tromsø Midnight Sun Marathon in 1 week and 1 day. It should be 14 degrees, it says, at my kickoff time at 8:30 in the evening, or 8:30. And then it says I will run it in 3 hours, 48 minutes and 24 seconds. Training has gone really well. I haven't picked up an injury, which was, I suppose, my main aim in the training overall was to maintain fitness, not get injured. And so far, that has worked a treat. This week, I've sorted out my Ultra vest, and also this arrived. So it's my guide running vest that I got from Vision Sports Ireland. I'm delighted to be running in it. It'll be really good to do that. The weather is predicted to be a bit rainy. Might talk to Chris in a minute about that, but we should be okay. I'll be wearing like a t-shirt and then the Ultra vest, and then I'll also be wearing the fluorescent vest on top of that. So I think I'll have plenty of rain stuff, but I'll bring a couple of different rain jackets just in case it's torrential, which I'm not expecting. But yeah, I'm really excited. I'm going to start packing tomorrow. I fly, today's Friday, I fly Monday. I'm flying because I'm going to be giving a lecture on behalf of the Irish Embassy of Norway on James Joyce and Norway as part of Bloomsday. I'm doing that on Tuesday. So as soon as I've finished talking to Chris, I'm going to switch to the lecture focus. That's all I'll be thinking about. There'll be a couple of runs and things like that, but that's all I'll be thinking about until after the lecture finishes, and then I'll be thinking about the marathon. That's just how I roll. Otherwise, I mean, there'll be obviously some crossovers, but that's essentially what I'll be doing. I know this video has been really long. I know we're going to go to see Chris in a Teams call, me in a couple of minutes. I'm going to record that, and so this will be the last of this very, very long introductory video. So thanks everybody for watching, putting up with it this far. If you've done it in one chunk, well, I don't know what to say. But yeah, we're looking forward to it. So we're going to jump on a Teams call and talk to Chris.
Hi, Barry.
Morning.
Do we find you in outer space?
Yes, I'm in outer space, cursing my my recording device. So I've had yes, I'm in outer space.
It's yourself, as they say.
Yeah. No, it's fine. I was thinking of two Ronnie's jokes earlier of that it's a good night from me and it's a good night from him, and I was thinking to myself, maybe you were too young to remember the two.
No, I really like the two Ronnies.
Yeah, so did I. They're absolutely fantastic. But anyway, so
Play was fabulous, but yes,
they were. Oh yeah, there were. Yeah, absolutely. 4 candles and all that. So I have started to record. So we are now. I've done the editing of all the previous ones, and we are over an hour and a half in.
I did fear that it was going to be like a get your popcorn out to.
Yeah, I was.
It's going to take them longer to watch the videos than it is for us to run the marathon at this rate.
Yeah, there is that. I did. I did that, and bless anybody who has got this far in the video without skipping forward. Anyway, look, I have pretty much done everything I need to do. I'm going on Monday to Tromsø and to Oslo on Monday, and so when are you traveling? Just so that everybody knows, what's your plan from here?
Well, basically, I fly out on the Thursday, not direct to Tromsø. There's no direct flights, but yeah, up via Oslo, just changing planes and straight up to Tromsø. So get there late in the evening on Thursday.
Right, and I will be there. So I'm going to Tromsø on the Wednesday. So I'm going to be there. Now I've had a look at the weather, and the good news is it's stable. Right, that's the good news, and I have the weather here, and I'll probably put a screen grab up. So the good news it is stable, and I use an app called Weatherbug. You can put it in any place in the world. So the 10-day forecast, it's really consistent. So Tuesday 19 degrees, Wednesday 17, Thursday 14, 16, 17, 18. But every day it looks like it's going to rain. So there's a 30%, 60%, 60%, 60%. 40% on the day we're running, and 30% because we're running from Saturday into Sunday. But I think the good thing is I don't know how heavy the rain is in Tromsø, but it looks like the temperature will be consistent. So we will know at the start
what to expect. And my guess is, for me, I'm wearing obviously a t-shirt, then I'm wearing this on-running ultra vest that you'll have seen, and then I'm wearing the fluorescent vest, and that'll probably keep off any sort of moderate rain. And I've brought a sore running sleeveless one just in case it's incredibly heavy, which I don't expect. So what's your plan?
Well, I'll see how it is on the day, but I'm going to give myself options and decide over the sort of the days beforehand. I've also looked at the weather. I used the Weather Channel for foreign weather predictions, and I agree exactly what you said. The only thing I would add is it looks like the rain will be sort of spotted showers rather than fronts of continual rain. So it'll be very much, a bit like we've got in the UK at the moment. It'll be nice one minute and raining the next, and you can't predict it that well. So I will take a base layer top and bottom with me. I never run in waterproofs. They seem to keep the sweat in rather than keep the water out, so it doesn't do it for me. And I'll take a pair of running gloves just in case my hands get freezing cold. But I'm not anticipating having to use them. It seems like the weather's going to be broadly similar in Tromsø this time compared to how it was when I ran Boston last year, which was 10 to 13 degrees-ish, raining most, if not all the time. And I ran that in basically the same stuff, shorts and a t-shirt. And it was a bit chilly to start with, but you keep yourself dry, get going, warm up.
I'm exactly the same. I would just be double checking on the Gold Bond friction defense lube, and that's the one thing. So I have to remember to put it around my neck, wherever anything rubs. Obviously, because I'm carrying a vest this time, I find it rubs at the side and all these things. But that's the funny thing is, because we're running at nighttime, we have all day to fanny around doing all that sort of stuff. I mean, for someone like me, it'll drive me demented. I'll spend the whole day fussing about all of that stuff.
We can pack and repack and rewear, and
it'll be all of that. Believe me, it'll be all of that. But the thing is, my nutrition, I'm doing the Kendall Mint, so I'm going to have them in here, and I'm going to have the water in the back. And I'm probably going to bring, because we'll be out for a while, I might bring a couple of other bits and bobs. You're going to be using some Cliffs things and some. What's your plan?
My plan, the pre-race plan, and I've got some show and tell, is, I know you laugh at this, but for a foreign marathon, I'm going to do it anyway. I don't care. I'm going for it. Is I take my breakfast with me, because just so I know that I've got it. I know it sounds a bit sort of control freaky, but
no,
I think it's safe. I think it's a safe way to do things, and I've used it in the past few foreign marathons, and it's worked fine. So I am bringing with me for my breakfast. Well, it won't be breakfast on the day. Is the famous Pop-Tarts.
Pop-Tarts.
So that'll be, but I won't be having them at breakfast because the race starts at 8:30 in the evening. So there'll be a sort of a pre-race dinner. We'll have, say, hotel breakfast and some lunch out, etc. on the day, but that'll be my breakfast. And if I'm still feeling hungry beforehand, I will have some of these sort of Trek Grays bar things with me. It's a picnic, I think, really. It's not a race, is it?
Yeah.
So just in case I need to top up or I just get sick of the Pop-Tarts, I've got something else that'll be pre-race and maybe post-race as well. Won't be taking them. They won't be coming with me on the race. So my main fueling, which I've done in all by one marathon, I couldn't do it in Tokyo this year because it would have been very, very difficult to do, is a Tailwind.
Yep.
So this is a powder that, in my case, I'll pre-scoop it out. It comes that big pack there. You have like a little plastic scoop, and I'll add that into my hydration bladder, which people have seen in the previous section. And so that will come out as a dry powder in there with me in the aircraft. And then on race day, I'll add, I don't know, 1.5 litres or 2 of water to it, get it all mixed. And that's why I prefer the raspberry flavour. And that's got a load of sort of nutrients and carbs and all the other good stuff. And in case of emergency, think of them to yourself. The other ones, I think there's different flavours, but the Cliff Blocks. So yeah, I'll have those with me as well for sort of top up, or if I get bored of the taste of raspberry after 4+ hours. And that'll be the nutrition for during the race. And fingers crossed.
Well, I'm also bringing some pizzas in an oven that I'm expecting you to carry, with tied into an electrical cord, and we'll just heat them up as you go, and you can serve them to me. I think that would be a good idea.
That sounds very good. Yeah, so that's plan C, is it?
Yeah, that's plan C. Plan Chris. Yeah, B was for obviously Barry. No, yeah. We were kidding about you carrying on my hydration, me with a big long hose. But it was like I am really looking forward to carrying everything that I need on the day, because I've done that before on my virtual New York Marathon, and you may have seen that on Strava, the virtual New York Marathon Strava event has gone live again. There's a lottery. By the time I think it's open till June 19th. But anyway, that's there. I hope they open that for the other. I'd love if they did that for the last couple of majors that I haven't done, London and Tokyo. But anyway, so we're going to go. We're all set. I'm desperately hoping that neither you or I get what's colloquially known as the threepenny bits or Montezuma's revenge or any of this, because if we do, Chris, just rest assured we are untethering. just for the avoidance of any doubt. We are untethering if that goes. But yeah, it'll be. I've never had any issues before, but I think we discussed this before, where I'm going to be thinking of the day in reverse. So I'm going to eat a big breakfast, I'm going to have a regular lunch, and then I'm going to eat my ordinary breakfast, which would be porridge, a couple of hours beforehand. I'm like you, I will absolutely bring my own Nescafe Gold blend, just in case they don't sell it in Tromsø. And I will be taking that religiously to make sure that everything is okay. And I'll be doing all that, pacing up and down, no doubt, in the thing. But we're off at 8:30 in the evening, I think. Isn't that right?
Yeah, 8:30, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm guessing we start at 8:30 and then we will run over the cusp of midnight. And I'm guessing you're carrying a camera that's going to film the whole thing, your DJI Action 2. And then I'm still weighing up. Would you believe a camera went on sale yesterday? I thought, that would be really good for the run. Which is, what was it? It was Insta360 Go 3S. And I have the Go 2, which drives me bonkers, even though it's a really good camera, but it drives me bonkers. But this new one looks like it might solve those problems. But I don't think I'd get it in time. So I might bring my GoPro Hero 12... my GoPro Hero Black 12, I think, or whatever it is, and it's got a kind of a fisheye lens. I've forgotten exactly what it's called, and a media mod, and I might have that in a pole so that I can stick it out pointing at the two of us, whilst obviously trying to manage the tether and because it needs to be super wide to get my head in the frame and your head in the frame. So I was thinking of doing that. So that might be a bit of fun. But I won't overthink that, because you can spend all your time figuring out cameras and forget to run, and you and me end up in the fjord again. So hopefully that won't happen. So I don't have any. I'm really excited. I should point out that I probably told you. I don't know if I did tell you, but you got this email, because I got this email the other day, and it said there are 1,501 runners in this marathon. But I know for a fact that the maximum number is 1,500. And the reason I know this is that my running buddy Liam signed up to do the marathon as a backup if I got injured, because we didn't want to leave you stuck. And thankfully that hasn't happened. But it was there. It was I mentioned at the very start of this video, but it was a plan. And I'd like to thank Liam for that, because it was, so he signed up, but he's not going, because everything has gone well. But it was just a just in case scenario. So I have no worry. I mean, my last long run went really well. I was really pleased that I ran it without any great difficulty in all the on-running ultra vest and with the various bits and bobs, and that worked really well. So I don't have any worries. Have you got any major worries, apart from running with a suicidal maniac who you don't know very well, or a homicidal maniac?
Oh, great. So yeah, no sharp implements on the airplane.
Yeah, no, don't be any of that. No. I so you don't have any worries, it seems, which is good.
No, all good. Excited. It'll be a different experience, but 1,500 people for the marathon should make it less chaotic. I mean, most of the marathons I've done have had tens of thousands of, the history of the majors and that. There haven't been many that have been a 10th or a 20th of that. So I'm not saying it's be easy, but fewer people tends to mean it's less chaotic, and therefore the guiding experience, I would imagine, tends to be slightly less crazy and fraught.
I think so, and obviously we are going to be starting somewhere near the rear. I don't know that they have different pens. I think you just kind of start, but I'm not sure. But on the basis that we're going to be somewhere, we're going to be at the opposite of the pointy end, the blunt end, I suppose, of the marathon. So it should be, really good. And I think we'll see a lot of people, because it's out and back a couple of times, isn't it? You go out towards the airport on one stretch, and there are people coming back, and the same the other loop and over the bridge. We probably will pass a lot of people who will pass us, and I think that'll be nice. I've got to mention this, but I got a Vision Sports Ireland fluorescent bib. So I will be where I got. They sent me a lot of stuff. It's really great, and I really did want to run in one that said Ireland on it for some strange reason. So I got one of those. So we will be. So people will recognise us as the short Irish dude and the really tall English dude. And that would be kind of nice because people will be going backwards and forwards. There's a lot of English people in the race, I imagine, based on the number of Irish people in the race. Because I was kind of going through it to just check that I was in it, check that you were in it, and there was lots of people from Ireland and England. So, and people, you've done this before, I haven't, but I'm imagining you get a bit of shout out every now and then because this is the two you running along. But yeah, I have no worries. I'm really looking forward to it. As I said, I'm going to go on Monday and I'll be in Oslo for a couple of days. So there was a thing, you saw this, you probably saw this, where you must have seen this. There was some sort of, if you fancied a meal afterwards, they were sort of saying all the restaurants to be closed. So you could buy a sort of hot burrito there's no way I would finish a marathon and think, do you know what I need? I need a hot burrito.
No, I saw that and I've had similar thoughts to yourself, though I did notice that basically it's like England used to be 20 odd years ago where there is nothing open on the Sunday. Maybe restaurants, but I looked up a few supermarkets. Nope, totally closed on Sunday. So we'll need to bear that in mind. Not insurmountable. We just need to be aware of it beforehand. That's the only caveat there.
I mean, I will buy snacks. I mean, I always think to myself, at the end of the marathon, it'd be great to have a beer, and I'm wearing my Sam Adams 26.2 t-shirt, and I always think it'll be great, but it never is. At the end of Chicago, I don't know if you drank any of this. They had a Goose Island, I think it was maybe called.
Yeah, that wasn't too bad actually. That was quite tasty. I enjoyed that. The one after Berlin was undrinkable.
Oh right, I can't remember. I don't remember any of that.
Yeah, they gave us a beer after Berlin, and I put mine down along with scores of others. There was like a pile of cans or bottles, whatever it was. I mean, not discarded. I mean, it wasn't like just lobbing them, but yeah. I obviously wasn't the only one to take a sip or two and go, "Oh, German beer. I thought we good." In this instance, yeah, many people agreed with me that it was less than good.
I was watching something the other day about an airport in Germany, Lufthansa's lounge or something. I know I'm watching this thing on YouTube. And yeah, they were giving out that there's over 1,000 German breweries, and they picked the worst, most bland ones to give to the tourists. So maybe it was that. Well, look, I don't have anything else to say. I'm going to be filming myself leaving in a couple of days, and you're going to be filming yourself leaving, and then we're going to try and put that together and make some sort of combined video review of our experience in Norway. That's our current plan as far as I can gather. You game with that?
I will try. I mean, I am nowhere near as competent in these sorts of ventures as you are. I will do what I can with my mobile phone, and we'll see what we get. It could be borderline unwatchable. It could be the Blair Witch Project, but we'll see what happens.
Well, you will get to see how many mistakes I make that nobody else gets to see in the filming and in the marathon running and all that stuff. You get to see, he forgot to press record again on this. He's got the camera turned the other way around. He's butt dialed his brother again. This happens in many marathons as I slip this time it's up here, but usually it's down or I take endless photographs of my inner thigh through blue spandex.
I've had to reposition my phone on some runs because I must have had it so it's getting a bit sweaty and damp. It must have just sort of pressed against something on my body, and I managed to emergency dial. So my phone through my headset would ring, and it would be 999 emergency services.
Yeah, I had that.
I feel really awkward at that point.
I felt really awkward. It happened to me once. I was out running on the beach out here, and next thing I knew, and my watch, because it's an Apple Watch, will also alerts me. And next thing I found, I was on to the local police station, which is the Irish Town Garda station, And suddenly I'm out running, and I think, oh look, where the Irish Town Garda station ringing me about? And it turned out I had butt dialed the Irish Town Garda station. But what was really, really good, I may have mentioned this in the video before, I felt really reassured. I didn't realise it at the time. But so I was saying to this guy, no, I'm fine. I'm out on the Shelley Banks and I'm running around. And he waited at least a minute asking me, and I realised he wanted to be sure I was okay, that something hadn't gone wrong, and that I was being forced to say I was okay. It was really, anyway, shout out to Irish Town Garda Station for all of that. It was really, I felt really reassured about that. So hopefully we won't be butt dialing any some Norwegian helicopter comes down and hovers over the two of us.
Give us a lift to the finish line, I'll take it.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking last night of making some funny jokes where we abandoned each other, play games on the way, and but yeah, no, you're stuck with me, Chris. I'm sorry, but you stuck with me for yeah.
It's going to be fantastic. I'm really, really looking forward to it.
Yeah, so am I. So look, I think we can hang up at this point, because I'd say at this stage we're an hour and 40 minutes in for the viewers, and I'm running out of background scenes. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you. I'll be seeing you yesterday week, so that's 6 days, I think. We'll be seeing you in Tromsø. I will be, I think Norway's a couple of hours ahead. I don't think there'll be much adjustment for either you or I. And I look forward. I'll thank everybody for watching. Thank you for inviting me. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Thank you for agreeing to guide me. I know you're excited to do it, but it is a big step for anyone to do. So genuinely, I massively appreciate it, and
cool.
let's have a good fun time.
Yeah, we'll have a great time. So hopefully everybody will see us in Norway in pretty much the next video that goes live. So yeah, I'll see you in Norway, Chris, and I'll see all the viewers. Don't get injured.
Of course not.
Right, I'll see you in a week. Cheers, Chris. Bye. Bye.